Hello again, fellow campers and canoe trippers. What this is the second part of the gear that I carry inside of my ditch vest. Now, I'm a very, very conservative canoeist. I don't cross big bays. I don't shoot the rapids. I'm very careful about what I do and where I go. So I don't think I'm really going to need any of this. But it's one of those just in case kind of scenarios. What I'm going to do is show you what I wear first. This new nylon clothing they have is a piece of survival gear. You can get it wet and it dries out really quick. Unlike the stuff we used to wear years ago. Flannel shirts and blue jeans, which get wet and stay wet. Okay, let me swing the camera down so you can see the stuff on the table. This is a solo video, just like the canoe trips. So I'm going to move the camera and be back in just a second. Alright, let's see what we got here now. What I want to show you first is the little lost kit that I made in Boy Scouts in about 1958. This isn't the same kit, it's a reproduction of it, but some of the items in it are from that kit. Now, in Scouts we were told all we had to do was worry about lost and we would be found. We didn't have to survive. So we didn't need a lot of stuff. In fact, they told us to call them lost kits and not survival kits. So inside a little container like this one was for holding hooks. I taped a dime for a phone call, and I magnetized a needle with the north end of it dipped in red paint. I had fishing equipment consisting of some split shot and hooks, a little bit of line, and there is a fly that I made back in 1958, and that's the one that was in the original kit. Other items that were original were the Haslon tablets for purifying water, Band-Aids, a razor blade, and one of those tubes of iodine. I also had a bouillon cube. I have no idea why I would have had a bouillon cube along. Maybe I was going to chew it or something, I don't know. For first aid, besides the Band-Aids, I had a couple aspirin and a couple salt tablets. And for making a fire, I had kitchen matches that I cut off so they would fit inside the jar, and birthday candles that I cut off so they would fit inside that little container. Now, what I carry around with me all the time in my shirt pockets when I'm out canoeing are these two things. On the end of one of these stringer things, I have my watch, because I always like to know what time it is, and I have a little flashlight, and it's mostly used to find a flashlight when I'm inside the tent at night. The other pocket, also on one of these little retrievers, I have a whistle and one of these new sparkers so I can make a fire with a fire steel if I need to. In the pocket of my rain suit, I carry a handy kit, which is toilet paper, a candle, wipers, and a Bic. And that just rides inside of my raincoat pocket. I always have a knife on me, and I carry this on my belt. In a Leatherman case, I have a Swiss Army farmer style knife. It's a big sturdy knife, big blade, and a saw, and a couple other attachments, but it's always handy. In the pockets of the cargo pants that I wear all the time, I always carry one of these big foil blankets, and in the other pocket a package of DEET. Now, These can ride in my pocket, and I don't even notice they're there, but I always have them on me. Now, before I move along to show you what I carry now, let me show you what I used to carry. I had this style life jacket, the one with all the pockets in it, and I'm sure you've all seen. And inside of that, I had an empty Spam can like this, and I wanted a can so I could cook in it. And inside of that, I had these military ration bars, Hazelon tablets, matches, tea and coffee with sugar. In another pocket, I carried a big foil emergency bag and the string and bits of duct tape it would take to make it into some sort of shelter. I also carried a big container of DEET because it'd be kind of hard to lay out in the woods with the bugs on you all the time without something. I also took along in one of the pockets one of these little Isbit stoves so I could heat up whatever I was going to try to cook inside that can. In another pocket I had something to eat, and it was mostly power bars of some sort. Now, for making a fire, I did carry these new military style heat tabs. The only problem with these is if you get a tiny puncture in the foil, the bar just turns to dust in there, and it's really not any good. Now, I was thinking about, well, lighting a fire, and how am I going to do that immediately with cold hands coming swimming ashore? So I took one of these small cans of gelled alcohol, and on the back I glued on a piece of cord, and on the front I attached a piece of cord. So if I was shaking and I had trouble lighting it, I could put one end over a branch, grab the other end with my hand or my teeth or anything, and yank on it, and that would open it up. Okay, now let's take a look at what I carry in my vest now. And this is my vest. Red so I can be seen. It has a flasher and a whistle always attached. Now the first thing I needed was a container. And I looked all over the place for containers. I have probably a half a dozen different kind of containers from all over. Then I saw on the computer a site where a fellow who nicknamed himself Woods Monkey had taken one of these Swiss Army canteens and he sawed the top off. Okay? What that results in, once the top is off, is the lower part, which is the cup, and the cutoff section can be put together like that. And now you have a sealed, tight container that you can cook in. There's your cup, and here's the cooking container. I have a small piece of wire that's carried along with it, so you can make yourself a pot you can hang over a fire. Now I've tested this. I've used a propane torch, and I've also boiled water in this, and the lining inside never comes off. Okay, now how about, what am I going to use to cook with? Well, all these ideas about gel and fire paste, I thought, well, why bother doing all that when now they have these small containers of gas. And on the computers, search around, and for less than 10 bucks, you can find one of these little stoves. I'm sure you've all seen them. This fits inside the life jacket pocket. So now if I need fire and if I need to get warm, I don't have to fool around with a Bic and picking up litter off the ground to try and start a fire. I can screw that on there, hit the piezo, and zap. I'm going to have heat immediately. So I can warm my hands and make myself something warm to drink. Alright? Now, underneath that, inside, I carry a mosquito net. Now what am I going to cook? Well, the main item is these herbs wits. I think that's how the Germans pronounce it. What they are is tablets of pea soup with a little bit of bacon in them. And I had a friend bring these back from Germany for me. You can't get them in the States because you're not allowed to bring bacon from Europe back in again. So I carry this whole thing inside the container, along with several bars of these military rations. Now, this foil on the end cramped up the inside. So I took that off and just put the bars inside aluminum foil to make more room. I also have several pieces of chocolate, a couple tablets of vegetable bouillon, cubes of sugar. These are the ones that are the brown sugar. Squeezed in, I have a couple small packs of salt. I have some quick tea. This is powdered tea with the milk and sugar already in it, so I can immediately make a cup of tea. I also have a couple small tea pellets, and you drop these in and they act like a tea bag, but they're not as bulky. A couple packages of military ration coffee, and in an empty space I managed to squeeze in a small portion of milk. And also in there I've got a spoon. So all that, believe it or not, all this fits down inside the pot, and that fits over it. The whole thing is put inside of a plastic bag and fits right inside the life jacket pocket. Well, I hope I answered some questions for you. If there's anything you're thinking about you want to ask me, go ahead. I hope I'll never, ever, ever have to use this, and I'm sure I won't. But it's better to be prepared than get washed ashore and be cold and hungry and lost. Take care.